Today, we are going to change things up a bit and look at development from a completely different angle. If modernization theory was the optimistic cheerleader of development, waving pom-poms and chanting "Go West, young country," then dependency theory is the skeptical friend in the corner, arms crossed, raising an eyebrow and saying, "Hold on a minute, is this system really fair? The global economy, a rigged game?" Dependency theory emerged in the 1960s and 70s as a direct challenge to the mainstream view. It basically says that the global economic system isn't a level playing field. Instead, it's like a rigged game where the wealthy industrialized countries, the core, hold all the cards, while the developing countries, the periphery, are stuck with a losing hand. Unequal exchange. Imagine you're a farmer who grows cocoa beans. You work hard in the fields, but you only get paid a tiny amount for your crop. Meanwhile, a big chocolate company in a rich country buys your beans, turns them into fancy chocolate bars, and sells them for a huge profit. That's kind of how dependency theorists see the global economy. The core countries get rich by buying cheap raw materials from the periphery, turning them into the expensive manufactured goods, and then selling them back at a much higher price. Debt trap. It's like borrowing money from a friend who keeps raising the interest rate. Developing countries often need to borrow money from the core to pay for things like schools, hospitals, and roads. But these loans can quickly become a burden, forcing countries to cut spending on essential services or sell off valuable assets just to make their payments. Brain drain. Ever heard the phrase "the rich get richer"? Well, it applies to brains too. Dependency theorists argue that the best and brightest from developing countries often leave to study or work in the core, depriving their home countries of much-needed talent and expertise. Neocolonialism. Some even argue that colonialism never really ended, it just changed its face. Instead of direct political control, the core countries now exert economic and cultural influence over the periphery, shaping their development paths in ways that benefit the core. Breaking the chains. Is it possible? So, what's the way out of this mess? Dependency theorists have a few ideas. Import substitution. Instead of relying on imports, developing countries could focus on producing their own goods and services. Think of it like growing your own food instead of buying it from the supermarket. Nationalization. Taking back control of key resources and industries from foreign companies. It's like saying, this is our land, our oil, our future, and we are going to decide what happens to it. South-South cooperation. Developing countries could team up and create their own trading blocs, financial institutions, and technology networks. It's like forming a study group with your classmates to tackle a tough assignment. The skeptic's corner. Of course, not everyone agrees with dependency theory. Some critics argue that it's overly simplistic, ignores the agency of developing country, and overlooks internal factors that contribute to underdevelopment. Others point to success stories of countries like South Korea and Taiwan, which seem to have defied the dependency trap by embracing global trade and investment. The debate over dependency theory is far from settled, but it's an important conversation to have because it forces us to question the assumption we make about the global economy and its impact on people's lives.